What's up, everyone? Zach here, coming at you almost a decade later. I have not reviewed a film since The Revenant dropped almost 8 years ago. Shit, almost 9 years ago, I think. And I figured it was time to get back on the saddle and drop another horror review at you. That was something I was flirting with making a channel of quite some time ago now. And I figured with how hyped up this one was, this is the one to get me back on track and picking it up hopefully a lot more consistently from this point forward. So for this over 60 people who are subscribed here, it's so cool to see that. I know I don't have a lot of content, but just even seeing that number, even if it's arbitrary, is fucking awesome. So thank you guys, whether you've watched something in the past or if you're tuning in right now. I really appreciate you for stopping by. Anyway, Longlegs. I want to give you guys a no bullshit review. I don't want to give you cookie cutter, empty platitudes like they've been thrown our way, outrageous claims like the most intense horror study of someone since Silence of the Lambs. It's a masterpiece. It's unlike anything we've seen for so long now. I just want to just cut the bullshit right off the bat. Is this the horror masterpiece? Heavy word, by the way. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, A+, S tier, whatever you want to call it. Is it that? No. Is it a bad movie? Absolutely not. Is it effective in its own way? Yes. Does it boast some absurdly entertaining and unique performances that are sure to leave an impression on you? Abso-fucking-lutely, especially by Nicolas Cage. Impressive effort from Monroe as well, who's on her way to paving the path to being a scream queen, as if she's not already after It Follows, and so many other great horror efforts from her. This is one that I'm looking forward to catapulting her to a new height, especially with the It Follows sequel coming. Anyway, what I'm getting at immediately, I just want to tell you, not a masterpiece. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to set the bar to a level that you've never seen before. It set itself to such a lofty standard with the, albeit impressive marketing campaign it had, with the vague trailers. It seemed dreamlike, almost nightmare-esque, creepy, the hintings at Nicolas Cage, and a very just ambiguous story, not a lot to go on. The codings, the language we're gonna have to figure out, like hollering at Zodiac a little bit, is almost seemed like Seven-esque. It definitely wears a lot of its influences on its sleeve, but it does it in a way that isn't biting it or being disrespectful or cheapening it in any way. It kind of does its own unique spin with just about everything here. So again, the movie, not the masterpiece, but a fantastic one at that. It looks great. The cinematography here is top notch. This is one of the more aesthetically pleasing movies I've seen probably this year, regardless of the genre. And overall, this is a film that is boosted to a new level with just such a batshit fucking crazy performance from Nicolas Cage. And he further cements the reason why he is in my top actors ever. I do not think there are many people out there that are as versatile and unique and offer such a crazy fucking spin on just about every role he commits to. Has he churned out his share of turds? Yeah. Hundreds of millions of dollars owed to the IRS or whatever it was will do that to you. So he had to do what he had to do to stay out of jail, right? But now that everything's back on track, we're starting to see a nice rebound from him. We're seeing unique projects with that great, just that grit and that tenacity that he brings, but in a way that isn't just so fucking laughable or something like a Wicker Man or some shit like that. We're starting to see him laser focused again and kicking on all cylinders. And Cage here had a really tough act to play because the film kind of lives and dies by it, right? It's named after his, the title of the movie is named after the character that he plays. We don't know to what extent he's involved in these murders. We don't know how fucking psychotic he is. We don't even really know much about what the film is revolving around, minus that Monroe is an FBI agent. But it all tethered together in a way that I found very satisfying. What surprised me is the film's a lot more violent than I figured it would be. I'm pretty hardened when it comes to that, and I'm kind of a douche when it comes to my threshold for what I can tolerate. So it delivered in that capacity. It was a lot more violent than I thought it would be. Some great bursts of gore, some visceral imagery that's definitely stuck out of me, and a couple genuinely chilling moments, all pretty much revolving around Cage. His demeanor, his face, he's basically unrecognizable. And his voice, just everything about him is just downright fucking disturbing. And it takes a lot to kind of get under my skin in that regard. And that's a word, that's a phrase you keep hearing. It gets under your skin. It burrows deep and it sinks in you, and it's like quicksand, and it's filled with dread. And that's pretty much the that's the word I've seen thrown around the most to describe it. It's dread. It's dreadful. It's filled with dread. It's, oh my God, there's so much dread I can barely fucking take it. And again, it got boasted to a level. I'm like, okay, it's not going to hit this. impossible at this point. But again, it's not the fault of the movie, right? If you have an epic marketing campaign like they did did so much with so little, that is a huge kudos to the movie, because guess what? It had a banging opening weekend, and it beat Hereditary, I think, by $9 million in terms of the opening weekend. I think it was 13 million compared to, actually, I think it was 24.5 million. So Neon had a huge W with this. And that's, of course, in large accolades to the marketing campaign. But anyway, I'm just spitballing so many thoughts at you guys at once because I'm still kind of reeling from it. I mean, I genuinely enjoyed it. I'm trying to get everything out in a time-friendly manner, and it's been a while, so I'm kind of excited to get back in here. So pretty much the best way I'd use to describe Longlegs is go in with realistic expectations. Do not go in expecting the fucking second coming of Christ here. It's nothing to that magnitude, but it is a fantastic film that is absolutely worth your watch, if nothing else for the visuals and just a fantastic batshit crazy, but in the right way, performance from Cage. The opening grabs you right away. It is a slow burn. This is not some gory, like, stacking bodies up to the ceiling sort of horror film. It's not like that. It's not a slasher. It flirts with a lot of different things. It's psychological one moment. It is visceral and gory in other parts, and then it kind of pulls the rug out from underneath you in a couple ways at some points. It's broken into 3 different chapters pretty much. So each one kind of had its own theme. It kind of had its own vibe it was going for. The ending, I know, has been pretty divisive among people. I thought it worked for me. The more I dissect it, the more I think about it and talk about it with my buddies, the more it's resonating with me, and I do appreciate the route it went. It's going to be a very divisive movie, only for the fact that, again, it got built up that is such a fucking stratosphere that it is frankly impossible for it to get that. But hey, you know what? Go in with realistic expectations. Don't expect the world, but expect a great film that is highly, highly entertaining. You guys can follow me on Letterboxd. I'll put it in my description. I'm right now, I think a 4.25 is a beyond fair rating. I know they don't do 0.25 increments on Letterboxd. Whenever I put a heart on a movie, that's my little cheat code to give it a 0.25 rating boost. So I'd probably give it a 4 and a heart. The Cage fan in me and the moments that worked here so well and how well it looked makes me want to give it a 4.5. But when you start getting 4.5 to 5, I think that's pretty. That's another territory that I like to reserve for some of the all-time greats. And this is not an all-time great, but it's probably in my top 3 of movies I've seen this year with just how much fun I had with it. And my wife liked it a lot as well, and she's a fucking pain in the ass when it comes to enjoying a lot of these movies. She's kind of a stickler, so knowing she enjoyed it well, I think is kind of what's swaying me to give it like a 4.25. But if you've seen it, drop your thoughts below. I would love to hear more about it, discuss with you guys. I try to reply as all that I can, even the ones that are like 10 years old. I try to be as active as I can on here, and I will hopefully do that more going forward. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. Have a good one.